Hello and welcome to Long Shot Larry's Sports Astrology. Today we're looking at the semi-final in the T20 World Cup between England and New Zealand, and we're going to jump right into it and have a look at the game chart. So the thing which stands out to me is that the moon is up here in Aquarius. It's going to conjoin Saturn, but first of all it's going to square Mars and Mercury. So it's going to activate this whole square where you've got Mars and Mercury applying to a square to Saturn. So the moon's about 1 degree 18 away. It's about 2.5–2.75 hours, which is sort of towards the middle part end of the second innings. It's going to be in force. So I think that's the main pattern we're going to be looking at today. So in this game, England are the favourites, so they're the ascendant, represented by Venus, and the descendant is the underdogs, which is New Zealand. So using the Frawley method, they are represented by Mars. So moving on to the Frawley method now, you can see that Mars is the Lord of the Seventh and it is applying to a square to Saturn. Now Saturn does rule the MC in this case, but Frawley does mention when Saturn is a malefic unless it is the ruler of the first, the seventh, or the part of fortune. So it's none of those. So Mars applying to a square to Saturn 15 minutes away there, I think, is probably one for the favourites here. We also have the moon applying to Saturn, which is Lord of the 10th, so that's one for the favourites. If I move on to the Antiska positions, you can see that the Antiska of the Sun is right on the MC there, and the Sun rules the part of fortune. So that's another one for the favourites. We do see the Antiska of the Moon is applying to the descendant about 2 degrees away. So that's one for the underdogs, New Zealand. Saturn, Antiska of Saturn applying there is 3 degrees away. Lord of the 10th, probably a bit too far for that one. So we've got about a score of 3-1 in favour of England. Alright, let's have a look at the charts. So this is a chart for England, the country. This is another very old chart. 25th of December 1066, the coronation of William the Conqueror. I found this chart worked quite well, especially for football. So what's happening in this chart? So we can see that Saturn is applying to Mars here. So all this Mercury, Mars, Moon, Saturn is all applying to the Mars for England. And Mars represents the sporting achievements of a nation. Saturn conjunctions I've found generally are okay. It's different to most planets in that the peak of its cycle is the conjunction and the opposition is the bottom of the cycle. So Saturn-Mars tends to be focused energy. Jupiter-Mars will be better, but I think that's okay. Now Mars natally is quincunx Jupiter, and Jupiter is trine the MC and Sun there. So the Mercury and Mars here are going to be sextile Jupiter, sextile the MC. So all that pattern is triggered. Saturn natally is very important for England. It's down here at 16 Virgo 49. It rules the Sun and MC, and it's also exactly trine Mercury. And you'll notice that Mercury's in Capricorn, Saturn's in Virgo, so they're in mutual reception, so they are strengthened. One other minor thing for England, which is probably going to play out the next week or so, or may play out, is Jupiter is up here at 23 Aquarius. And you will see that it's applying to a semi-square to the MC and Sun there, more to the MC at the moment, and natally Jupiter is trine the MC Sun. So that's a bit of luck, I think, going England's way. Let's look at the captain, Eoin Morgan. So straight away, a thing I find interesting is Eoin Morgan has his Sun at 17 Virgo, which is very closely aligned with that Saturn for England, which is an important area. And his Mars is up there at 16 Virgo 52, which is on the Mercury. So his Sun, Saturn trine lines up very closely with England. So what's happening with Eoin Morgan? One minor thing is that the Sun at 18 Scorpio is sextile his Sun Mercury conjunction. That's very minor. It's a very minor testimony. Saturn is also separating from a sesquiquadrate to his Mercury, which rules his Virgo Sun, so it's an important planet. Mars and Mercury also semi-square. Not overly positive, I would say, but it is a link to that pattern. So let's have a look at New Zealand. So New Zealand, Saturn up here at 7 Aquarius 39 is separating from an opposition to the New Zealand Jupiter. The New Zealand Jupiter, however, is in alignment with Saturn natally. So It's in a 135 degrees or sesquiquadrate. So Saturn is applying to a semi-square to this Saturn-Jupiter alignment here. Not the end of the world, however. Saturn natally for New Zealand is a very important planet. It's sextile the Moon, sextile the Mars, and trine the node, and also opposite the MC. So it's part of a kite. However, it's also sesquiquadrate Jupiter and forms a square aspect to Pluto. It's in charge of the ascendant. So I think, probably looking at those two countries, I think England probably looks a bit better just from a Saturn point of view. However, New Zealand does have Neptune up here, very close to sextile the Mars at 20 Capricorn 28 there, so 3 minutes away and trine the node. And they also have the node here at 1 Gemini 47 in this game is closely trine the Sun at 4 minutes away. Now, when they played Afghanistan the other night, that was 1 minute away. So this North Node and Neptune aren't really being triggered that I can see this game. Neptune is probably going to be crossing the MC late in the game, so New Zealand might get a bit of a spurt. So, but they are minor positives. You've also got for New Zealand Venus up here at 4 Capricorn 46 is an important planet for New Zealand because New Zealand has a Libran Sun and Venus in Libra. So you see that it is square Venus, but it is separating 7 minutes. So it's probably moving away. I think that's probably okay. Let's have a look at New Zealand captain. So I've got Kane Williamson here. What you can see straight away is that this part of fortune down here, nearly 14 Leo, is applying to his Sun. That's very good. I like that. That's a very positive alignment for Kane Williamson. What else has he got going on? Uranus is trine his Mercury, trine Neptune, which is a nice line. I don't see particularly how that lines up with his Leo Sun. Natally for him, Saturn is opposite Venus and trine Mars. It is applying to Mars, separating from Venus, so hard to say exactly which one is stronger there. An opposition aspect is usually more powerful than a trine. However, the trine is applying and the opposition is separating. Jupiter has moved on for New Zealand. When they beat India the other day, Jupiter was in alignment with Kane Williamson's Venus here. It has moved on about 45 minutes, so I think that's probably passed. The other thing with Saturn is it's past a conjunction to his North Node. Moon is applying. These two are square. I think it's a little bit past. I tend to think that's okay. Saturn going over the North Node is an achievement sort of thing. That's Kane Williamson. So in summary, this Moon conjunct Saturn squares Mars, Mercury is the dominant pattern, I believe, in this game. If we look at the Frawley method, we've probably got a score of about 3-1 in favour of England, who are the favourites here. The England chart is very closely aligned with all that Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Moon alignment, and I think Saturn is quite a positive planet generally for England because it rules their Sun and MC, so I think the England chart looks better from that perspective. Eoin Morgan, the captain, I can't see a lot going on. He is hooked up to that Saturn, Moon, Mercury, Mars pattern, not in a fantastic way. There is a minor testimony there from the position of the Sun, but nothing outstanding there. New Zealand, that's Saturn semi-square, Saturn, Jupiter. I prefer the links from England to New Zealand for that one. Neptune is an interesting position, as is the node. They're both in potentially winning positions for New Zealand. However, I can't see any triggers for those two planets today, but they are. That Neptune Mars is very close. Kane Williamson looks better than Eoin Morgan to me. I like that part of fortune conjunct his Sun, which is quite nice. I don't know how that Uranus Mercury Neptune trine works out. Not really linking back to his Sun. So in summary here, as far as the countries go, I think England looks better. As far as the captains go, I think the New Zealand captain looks better. So who looks better overall? This one, I think the country chart outranks the captain's chart. So I think England looks stronger, though it's not altogether positive, but they do have closer links to the major pattern going on in this game. Plus the Frawley method leans to the favourite from a score of 3-8. I think England have a better chance in this one. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.